bow our head. Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus Christ, we come before you. We stand in truth, for you are truth. So Lord, Father in heaven, what is shared tonight, which is you, the truth, the way. We thank you for enlightening the way with the truth. So we just want to thank you again, Father, for these four corners of this building. Our brothers and sisters that came from far to share the truth. And Father in heaven, we just want to hallow you and give you all the praise and glory for the truth we see. Thank you very much for your life. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Bless the rest of the night. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Okay, so I wanted to welcome everybody. This is our opportunity tonight to learn about what is going on in our Hawaiian community, throughout all of the different islands, what's happening. And at times it gets very confusing. Unless you spend 3 hours a day on your Facebook, it's hard to keep up with what's going on in the community. So tonight, hopefully we can share some of that information about where we're coming from and where we're going with all of this. So somebody gave me one agenda tonight, and just did the holy from Morihika, who's going to be here in a little while, so she missed out. And we want to holler you for giving us an opening pulling tonight. So the word next to my name is facilitator. I just read this when I came in the door, so I'm a facilitator. I should have read this earlier, but I didn't. So I guess what I'll do is I'll kind of like set the stage of what's going on. And as I said earlier, it might be a little bit confusing, so if you listen carefully and if you start losing it, just raise your hand and ask one question, okay? Because if you don't understand what's going on, then the next guy next to you might not understand what's going on. So those of us who have been involved, we might go a little bit too fast because we take things for granted. So tonight, we're here tonight to talk about what is happening in the Hawaiian community. And I gotta say right off the bat that what is happening is really exciting. It's stuff that we've been talking, and almost like we're talking and thing bounce back, we're talking and thing bounce back. And we go inside a courtroom, we tell a judge something bounce back, nothing happened. We go and we talk to this guy at the legislature, we bounce back, nothing happened. Nobody's been listening all these years. So now things are beginning to change. People, whether you're a judge or a legislator or a guy on the street, they're taking notice. They're not just liking out everything you say, they're taking notice. They're taking notice because we got good Hawaiians out in the field, grassroots level, all the way up to the international level. We've got Hawaiians all at the different levels. So if we're talking government, we're talking county, state, national and federal, to international. The problem we've been having in the past, say, maybe 10 years, is that all the guys at a different level, we're kind of on their own. At the grassroots level, we have guys that form their own kingdoms, putting weight, just do it, signing up people, doing whatever they gotta do. Everybody was doing their thing. That's because we're going through growing pains as Hawaiians, and we found out truth. So, all of these growing pains, we have Hawaiians fighting with Hawaiians about which trail will take us to where we want to go. We all had the same vision. Man, we had so many different trails. Aloha Āina, Aloha over there. And then we started running with one another. And that's just part of the growing pains. Because we never know the truth because we didn't learn anything in the educational system. They did not tell us the truth. Okay, so now we are beginning to find out what is history, who we are. That's very, very complicated. Because depends who you ask. So, if you ask a guy on the street, we're all Americans. That's our generation. Our generation, we're all Americans. The first lady that would say you're not Americans on a stage in Yolani Palace. Her name was Yolani Trask. And she stood up there, I think it was 1993. And she said, we are not Americans. What did she say? I am not American. We are not Americans. We are not Americans. And that kind of like heresy. She was saying things that us as Hawaiians not supposed to be saying. So today, we are saying it now on Facebook. You go on Facebook, you're going to see we are not Americans all over the place. You're going to be seeing that we are this and we are that. And right now, we have all of these battles among ourselves as independent. Let's just give a name, independence and sovereignty. We're battling among ourselves about what is the right Aloha. On the other side, there's another movement going on. These were the people that wanted us to be good Americans. As good Americans, we can get more money. So, there's one movement that started with the Akaka bill, and Senator Inouye, all the big time people, Governor Waihehe, those guys. They were determined that in order for us to survive, we need to be good Americans. So the problem was, Inouye could only get X number of dollars for us. So they said, okay, we got to be recognized. So all of the Hawaiian politicians got together and they said, in order for us to do well for our people, we have to be recognized by the United States, just like the Indians are recognized. So the Indians was getting more money than the Hawaiians, even though Inouye had that much power. If we were recognized, we get choked more money. Then we could also save our elite trusts. They were attacking our elite trusts. So the movement that was started by the leaders in the Hawaiian community, politicians, political leaders, was to make sure that we got recognized. Okay, so we give them a name. So we're going to be called, in order to understand what that means, I guess you have to use the word Indians. Not in the, it's not like I'm against Indians or anything like that. They're getting shafted the same way we're getting shafted. To understand what our Hawaiian leaders were pushing us to become recognized the same way the Indians are recognized. So federal recognition, the word Indian, identifies this group of Hawaiians that are going down this Aloha. Okay? On this side, we got this group of Hawaiians that are going down maybe 3 or 4 different Aloha's towards independence. Okay. So, what these guys realize right now today is that if you don't kind of like put everybody down into 1 or 2 trails, maybe 3 trails, you might not win this battle. But these guys got their trail is pretty clear. Federal recognition at all costs. Okay? That trail is being led by the most influential Hawaiians that we have in the state of Hawaii. All of the recognized politicians, Hawaiian politicians. They believe that's where we're going to go. So on this side, we have all the independents. They don't believe being more American, being recognized as being more American is the solution. Money is not the solution. Okay? So independence is the solution. So right now the independents are beginning to realize that if we don't get together, if we don't focus our efforts, the guys on this side have been working at this for the last 10 years. Their focus. Okay? So as we're sitting here today, the latest rumors, now this is rumors, it's not facts. Okay? not true, this is rumors, that they already have like $250,000 in a nonprofit group. It's going to lead this movement. It's going to go and take all of those funds. They probably get more funds than that. They already spent maybe 5-6 million already. So they're going to go and they're going to say to the Hawaiians, ratify our new constitution. Once that happens, then these guys are probably going to win. Okay? So they got big bucks. They got one constitution, so-called constitution that they made. And some of us tried to go and participate, got arrested. It wasn't caught today, huh? Got arrested because they tried to say, no, this is the trail. They say, no, this is the trail. So they're on their way. So what we have here tonight is an effort that's going on all of the islands. So what is happening here tonight is happening everywhere in small groups like this all over. This group is trying to bring everybody together to say, even though we don't have $250,000, even though we never spent 7 to 9 million, whatever, 10 million, we still believe that this is the trail we're going to be on that's best for our people. So the reason why it's best for our people is because of the truth of who we are. We, on this side, believe we are Americans. We on this side believe that we are Hawaiians. So we need to understand that we are Hawaiians. We need to understand that as Hawaiians, this happened. Facts. But when we went to school, there was no facts. There was only kupuna. Thank goodness for the kupuna. They kept us on the straight and narrow. Now we have facts. The facts are very simple. There was an overthrow. There's no such thing as an illegal overthrow. It was, but it was an overthrow. That's fact. Okay? When you were growing up, I went to Kamehameha. I graduated in 1963. There was no overthrow. In my life, going through the whole school, graduating, there was no overthrow. So from then to now, we need to make sure we let everybody know, and it's out there, there was an overthrow. Okay? After the overthrow, we have to issues that gives us the most hope right now is that because of what happened, we are occupied. We are occupied. Because our kingdom still exists. Okay? We have to all believe that this lie about we lost our kingdom is lies. It's absolutely lies. Okay? The more homework you do, the more you're going to realize and find out that the kingdom exists. Okay? Once we start believing that as Hawaiian, the kingdom exists, then we know what we gotta do. The kingdom exists. Who is the state? Who is this guy telling us we're going to give away our water? They're killing all our fish. They're giving up all our ceded lands to all these private organizations. Who are these guys? That's the question. If we know who we are, then who are these guys? And that's a question that we're going to have to answer loud and clear. Okay? So, the kingdom exists, and the state doesn't. If we keep the facts real simple like that, it's better for us to understand. Now the question is, what do they do? So that's what we're here tonight. We'll find out some of the things we're doing statewide, because we believe the kingdom exists, and we believe that we're going to be independent. We don't believe anything that our politicians are saying. You know, John Wahe is my cousin, first cousin. Okay? First cousin. Okay? When I was in Waimea and he was going to run for office, we had a big family reunion. We had a hall, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 30s in the hall in Waimea. And I got up on the stage and I introduced the next governor of the state of Hawaii, John Wahe. And he became the next governor. So Anybody can talk stink about him. I can't. Because I Aloha that person, Aloha that man, I disagree totally. We disagree totally about whether we're going to be on this side and whether we're going to be on this side. Because I can understand where he's coming from. Because we all grew up together. We never change. You're not listening to this new generation and get all the information. He's stuck. Because he gave all of his time and energy to this bogus idea that we gotta be under America. That's his reality. Our reality is totally different. Because we have facts and truths. Okay? So tonight, this group, Aloha Āina, was formed because this group was making huge headway. We already got one constitution, we got big bucks to tell all the Hawaiians. We ratified this constitution. The federal government is ready to accept this constitution. And when the two meet, the federal government and the constitution guys get together, we have Shed Creek. Okay? So this group had been formed to try and organize Hawaiians all over the place. It's a young group. They get growing pains. They get changes, tweaks. Then one island will do their style, the other island will do their style. Why not go get a different style? And another will get a different style. That's just the way we are. But we all on this side, on this trail, going towards independence. We just stick together and keep looking at the other side. Instead of looking at all the different sides we get, look at the other side and how far they're moving and how fast they're moving. We can win this battle against them. So, with that introduction, I want to introduce the person that really will put all of this together. And I worked a little bit with that, so we did it. And I remember going to New Zealand, and when I got to New Zealand, it was actually, oh, where's Solini Hill? Where's Solini Hill? I said, oh, you guys know Solini Hill? Yeah, they all knew him because he went down. He was one of the first Hawaiians out there on the front line with those guys fighting Maoris against Britain. The various Americans. So, I'd like to introduce Kalama on the Hill to give a little bit of background about how we're doing all of this island-wide organizing and what this whole group is all about. How about a round of applause?
Hello. Mahalo Molokai, we're so excited to be here. It's Aloha Āina is really an idea. And it's not just one person, it's not just one individual. What we realize is that Aloha Āina is a means for us to gather. So wherever the people are, that's where our nation is. Wherever the people are, that's where our nation is. And if there is a nation that's being created without our people, without the voice of our people, the understanding of our people, if they're creating this whole different process and nobody knows what's going on, is that a true nation of Kanaka? Because where our people is at is the kino of our lahui. And the history of how this whole thing happened is the reason why people don't really understand and know about how this whole Naia Puni fiasco ended up happening is because a lot of these discussions, a lot of these things is going on behind closed doors. So what we want to do is share a little bit here right now about how this whole thing kind of started coming out with nobody knowing about it, without the participation and consent of the vast majority of our people. Back in between 2000 and 2005, there are several versions of the Kaka bill that went through Congress, but never passed. Does anybody here go to a single community meeting where they asked you, what do you want? Show of hands. Anybody? Zero. Zero. There was one meeting that they had, and you know what happened? Is it came out and they said, they basically came after 1993, afterwards, started getting educated, started learning more about our history, about our rights, it started blossoming all over the place. And basically what we saw was that they went to try Ikuya. After the apology bill, there's like, oh, okay, wait a second here. Now they're recognizing that it was illegal. That was like fringe Manao. When we were growing up, independence, everybody thought our families were crazy, yeah. But you knew the history. And then all of a sudden, here it is, an American president started validating it. And so, 2000, 2005, they tried to take that and turn it into funding and money. Yeah? So, next. So it fails, right? It can't go through. Hardly anybody even knows about what's this. They just kind of hear about it, but it's just kind of a rumble that happens without the people. And after 2011, there's a group of people that refused to let it die. 2011, the Kanai-o-Levalo Rule was created by the state of Hawaii. Act 195, and 5 commissioners were appointed by the governor and given the goal of enrolling 200,000 Kanaka. Kanai-o-Levalo spent $4 million of beneficiary monies to make this rule. How many, what could $4 million do on Molokai? Lenny. You know why? Because Molokai knows what to do with very little. If you guys were given some resources and some funding to build your own Ike here, Molokai knows how to do very much with very little. What happened here? They gave them $4 million. Next slide. And so, Act 77 was the next part in that yellow point. So the thing about Act 195 that's really important is they define who is Native Hawaiian. So that means, according to a state-created document, there's gonna be a group of people that are Native Hawaiians, and there's a group of people who are not. The state of Hawaii is trying to define for us who we are through an act in their legislation. Following this, Act 77 and Naiapuni, in 2013, the state of it was a failure. $4 million, only 19,000 people Kanaka signed up because there was no trust. They're saying, give us your name, give us the mana of your hana and your mo'okauhau, we'll take it, and then we're gonna decide. And everybody's like, hey, look at that guy, because we're gonna give you the mana of our ohana and our mo'okauhau when you haven't even talked to us about all the shenanigans you guys have been doing. So that failed. What happened is in 2013, they transferred tens of thousands of, about maybe like 80,000 names from different registries, OHA list, the Ka'uinoa. I don't know if you guys remember the red shirt sign up. Operation Ohana, yeah? Does anybody remember that? Those are like, you know, these are not programs for voting. Yeah, the Operation Ohana was like what, scholarships, Ohana funding. It's nothing, it had nothing to do, people signed up for it for some completely different. Then you had all this Hawaiian registry. And that was in general to just like get a list of names of people who voted and try to encourage a vote. There was no consent by the people on this list. And they just took those names. And as we started going through, it had to be sued to release these names. And we found that hundreds, maybe like, 700 of our kupuna, from just a 5-year period, from 2010 to 2015, about 700 of our kupuna who had passed and deceased were on that list. And when families asked for them to be removed from Kanai-o-Levalo, you know what Naiapuni said? And Kanai-o-Levalo said, Ha'ole. Your family cannot remove the names. And then there are people who were on that who didn't even know. How many people have heard of Ohana or themselves have found themselves on the list? And they realize, hey, I never agreed to this. Anybody like who here knows of or has an experience of being on the list without your consent, the Kanai'oluwa list? Anybody know? So I do. Okay, so about half. Anybody in this room not even ever seen this Kanai'oluwa list? Anybody in, okay, so here's a few people haven't even seen. So you're talking about 2/3 of this room right now either are on the list without your consent or have even no idea. You could be on the list right now. You don't know. And then they're using this to then, April 25, 2015, despite a lack of Christian community church, OHA then designates a group of people to become Naiapuni, and they give them $2.6 million to take this role and to create this whole process. Who voted for these people?
Nobody.
Nobody, right? There's some people you might know these people, but who are they reporting to? And 2.6 million, again, what could Molokai do with $2.6 million? What they did was have a convention behind locked doors, behind a locked gate. Next slide. So out of that, a lot of us got pretty cool, and I really aloha very much one of Molokai's own, Shane Pale, and Helani Sono Pale, for his wahine. So yeah, you know what? This is BS. We're not going to accept this. And so they actually started this movement called This Night of Puni, and I joined in the group. And so what we did was they started creating, and we all started. I can go to the next one. The Aloha Āina. This was the first one at the University of Hawaii in Manoa, Oahu, where we gathered some of the great leadership from the independence movement, and we said, hey, this is what's going down. And then we started talking. What is at stake? 2 million acres of Hawaiian national lands and our right to self-determination. 2 million acres. So what they're playing is hard, loose, and fast with 2 million acres. All this so-called ceded or seized lands. The OHA Trust. The definition of a native Hawaiian. These are the things they're playing hard and fast and loose with. So, what are they saying you're creating this for? Is because they're going to protect Ali'i Trust, okay? But they're defining this group of people who you don't elect, who you don't know, have no accountability to you. If they define who is native Hawaiian, what does that affect? They're going to protect the Ali'i Trust.
They could rape it.
Protect them for themselves.
They're going to tag them for that. There's going to have a small, out of the 577,000 Kanaka Maoli that are here, they only have like 100,000 people on that list. So you know what that means? If they define Native Hawaiian as that, who can apply for Native Hawaiians for Kamehameha schools? Who can apply for any of the grants and programs for OHA? Who can apply for Hawaiian Homestead? So if they define Native Hawaiian, and the only people who are allowed to be on, so you're on the list without your consent, or you're off the list, this is a big deal. This isn't a small thing. This is a very big deal. And this is gonna affect all of us. This has the potential to affect all of us on a day-to-day basis, because how many of our ohana need help, have gone through either a health system or a screening or a grant application or a scholarship and have gone through hard times, QLCC, all these Ali'i Trusts. How many of us have been touched by something has been defined as Native Hawaiian? I think every one of us. So we started having them on all the different islands. Kona, we had on Oahu, we had a couple. We had out of the country in my area, in Haula, and we also had in Papakolea and Kauai. Meetings. These are meetings where people are asking from the community. Next slide. And you know what we kept on hearing over and over? Is that what we wanted to do is next slide. Is that they kept on hearing the refrain, we needed an AHA. We needed a people's AHA. And so from that's how, when we're going from all the different islands and listening to the people, we realized that we have to answer the kahea. And so the idea of Aloha Āina came out of this night. Now, not the only thing that came out of it's not just from that. It came from this history going all the way back, from the overthrow to the Kuia petitions, the occupation of Kalama Valley, 1993, the awakening of our people. it all built up on the mo'okua how a rising ike. And from that, we realized what Uncle was saying. People have been doing things in their communities. And what those other guys aren't doing is they're not asking the people of the land, the Ku'ainas, what do you want? What is the mind of your Aina? Who are you? So this is what we want to do here. That's how Aloha Āina started. It's not just a group of people. It's an idea that everybody in our lahui belongs to the kino. And what's wrong and what's really mahia about the United States is that they have abandoned their own people. They have the highest rates of incarceration. Their school system, their children are in debt for the rest of their lives when they get through it. They have no health care. People are dying. They've actually started flying in food to places in the United States, and because they have no food and no jobs and no resources. This is a failing system, and we're going beyond it. Our people want to live and look beyond it. And when you look at that crumbling system, this is what the DOI and the federal recognition process. And not only is it we're going to get crumbs, but we're going to get crumbs off of a crumbling system. So what we're going to do tonight is, I'm very excited, is during this process we had a rediscovery of one of our most ancient, processes called we call it the Kalaimoku, or the kino of the nation. And the way I've always envisioned it, before I even knew about this from David Malo, is I always envisioned at the time of the overthrow, what happened is they try to smash us. They try to come down hard on our people, and they hoped that our people would die. So convenient, yeah? Get rid of all of us. Just mock it already, yeah? So what happened was, you know what? We never did that. We went out and we scattered, and we went back into the, our safe places, and we didn't die. We made children. We went out and we spread out. We became from like 40,000. We became more than 500,000 in this current day. And what happened was people took the kuleana. And they learned the weaving, their hula, their olelo, their fishing, their farming. They took it and they went underground. Literally, the umeke of the pueblo was hidden. And you hear about this from the kupuna a lot, is that poi was still eaten, but it was hidden. Olelo was still spoken, but it was illegal. But it survived. And so what we're trying to see right now, what we're seeing right now, is a reawakening of that. And what happened is the fracturing, we have to heal it. In order to be truly pono, if we are talking about really taking control of our destiny, taking control of our kingdom, we need to start healing that kino. And sometimes we talk about the hakaka, about, people, points can't get along, have them bucket, blah, 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 whatever, You know what? What happens when you get all caught up and bust up, yeah? And then you gotta get sewn up, you gotta heal, and all your kakills and all your bust up parts are healing. But you get pretty maneo, yeah? Like scratch them, Healing is not always a gentle process. And it's always, maybe not always the most fun process to go through. But we're in the process of talking to each other, getting together, sharing our ike, and respecting, number one, respecting the manao of the Ku'aina. So when we come here, we said mahalo to the people of Molokai. Because we weren't going to come here until you guys invited us. So that's like mahalo ai. Because this is your aina. So mahalo nui loa for welcoming us to your aina. Mahalo, and I'm excited to see the next part of.
Introduce Helani.
Helani is she was one of our wonderful our leaders in the Protest na Yaupuni movement, and some of you might know her, married to Shane Pale, and she has done tremendous work looking at what's going on at the DOI and what's happening in Washington. So.
Aloha, I'm Helani, and I'm originally from Oahu, born and raised. and I come here often with my husband to see my mother-in-law. But I just wanted to share something. I don't know if you guys saw the Kamehameha School's song contest back in March, but the theme of it was Ku'u Kulaiwi, Aloha Ku'u Kulaiwi. And it was a beautiful theme because Kulaiwi is the Hawaiian word for homeland. But if you translate what Kulaiwi means, it means the plains where the bones of my ancestors lie. And I mean, I think that's a beautiful mana'o, right? So love of your land, Aloha Āina, is actually love of your ancestors. Because your ancestors are in the land. And I thought that was a really beautiful, that's probably the most beautiful song contest ever in March. I don't know if you guys saw it, it was awesome. You guys gotta watch it. Anyway, but if you guys are asking, what is this all about? What is all these millions of dollars, this akaka bill, na'iaupuni, all of this? What is this all about? It's about the land. It's about 1.8 million acres of Hawaiian lands, Hawaiian national or kingdom lands that was taken when the Hawaiian kingdom was overthrown and has been held in trust for the Kanaka Maoli or the Native Hawaiian people. That's what this whole thing is about. And it's about keeping that control. And eventually, they can't hold it in trust forever. They have to give it back, right? We can't live on the land, they won't let us. I don't know if you guys have been to Oahu lately, we got so many homeless on Oahu. You drive anywhere, you're gonna see them. We got camps. And the biggest portion of the homeless on Oahu is Hawaiians. And that's a travesty because we have land. We got 1.8 million acres of it, but we don't have homes. You know, they don't let us go on our own land. And now Ige is passing a law saying that he's gonna arrest us, and it's gonna be a criminal trespass if you go on any undeveloped state lands, which is all state lands are Hawaiian lands. Okay, so that's what this whole thing is about. Just in case you were wondering. Okay, so Na'iaupuni was created in December 2014, and it's an organization that has one meeting a year. They keep no minutes, and none of their meetings are public. But they have $2.6 million of our money, and then they're creating a Hawaiian nation for us. That's what Na'iaupuni is. So what happened in February 1st to the 26th, they created a constitution. They're calling it the Constitution of the Native Hawaiian Nation. They took this constitution, they're supposed to take it to the community. Did they come to Molokai yet? No. They only went to Panaewa and Maui. They had 2 meetings, public meetings. At the 2 meetings, everybody that went to that meeting rejected that constitution. So what they're doing now is they're taking that constitution straight to Washington, D.C. And you're wondering how they can do it, right? So Department of Interior. So in 2014, December, Na'iaupuni was created. But before that, the Department of Interior came to Hawaii. I think they came to Molokai.
Yep.
And they asked the Hawaiian people, that was in June and July of 2014, they asked the Hawaiian people, should we create rules or a process to create a federally recognized Hawaiian nation? And the majority of the people that went to these meetings said no, a'ole, that gave oral testimonies. So, but despite that, they went ahead and drafted the rules anyway. And now we have the proposed rules. And so I'm just kind of going to go over that. But what's happening is they're creating a puppet nation. I'm just going to kind of summarize it for you guys. They're creating a puppet Hawaiian nation to basically do a global settlement on all Hawaiian people's behalfs on the ceded lands, or the Hawaiian lands, or whatever you want to call them, national lands, Hawaiian kingdom lands. This nation, which is created by people who are already in power, is going to be the nation speaking on our behalf. Yes?
I think we should stop using the word ceded lands because it would never ceded.
Yeah, some people don't know, like maybe Auntie Kanani doesn't know that it's Hawaiian kingdom land, so because we've been ingrained that you know, it's been called ceded lands for 20 years. So some of our kupuna don't know that it's Hawaiian national lands, Hawaiian kingdom lands. But you're right, we have to change the mindset.
Yeah.
But I think number one is getting the message out that they're doing this. Because I'm not stealing the land, they are. Go back to the kindly one. Okay, so the Department of Interior asked us to, if we wanted to propose rules. And the oral testimonies, there were hundreds of people on all islands. They went to Kauai, Oahu, Maui, they went to Molokai, they went to Lanai, and everyone, like I would say about 90% of the oral testimonies said, "Aole, we do not want, we don't want a federally recognized Hawaiian tribe, basically. So we don't want the rules. Don't make the rules." However, they didn't count the oral testimonies. All the oral testimonies were not counted. Go back to family one. And instead, they looked at 5,164 comments that was received. And if you think about it, if we have 500,000 Hawaiians in the U.S., the United States, that's about 1% of the total Kanaka Maoli population. Next one. So, out of that 5,000 comments, 741 of those comments was submitted by the Native Hawaiian Role Commission, which was created by Hawaii State Legislature through Act 195, and their sole purpose was to create a Hawaiian role. But here, you have them submitting 741 comments within a 2-day period, and it was basically unsigned, most of them, to the Department of Interior in support of creating these rules to create a Hawaiian, Native Hawaiian tribe. Okay. So that in itself was very unethical, because that wasn't their purpose, and they're actually lobbying the Department of Interior. Next slide. Okay, out of the 5,000 comments, 1,800 of them came from Imua, Hawaii, and they were, again, postcards, and 1,021 additional comments were exact duplicates. So that's a total of 2,851 postcards from Imua, Hawaii, which has people like Lelekalaka Melehiwa, who was a Na'iaupuni delegate at the AHA that created the Constitution, and also the mother of a Kana'iolowalu Commissioner, Na'alehu Anthony. You have people like Jade Danner in that organization, who's a sister of the Native Hawaiian Role Commissioner, Robin Danner, and who's also the president now of Shaw, who's taking the Constitution to Washington, D.C. It's people like that that are in that organization that submitted 2,851 postcards. Now, do you think that represents the voice of the people?
Of course not.
Yeah, of course not. So this is a picture of the postcard. So a total of 55% of the total comments received were in Imua, Hawaii postcards. This is a total scam. Like, this is, they're manufacturing consent. Next one. Over 90% of oral testimonies were in opposition to drafting a proposed rule, and they were not counted. So we don't know why, they haven't answered, and we're still in the process of trying to get answers from the Department of Interior on why they're not counting the oral testimonies. And you guys can watch the oral testimonies on YouTube as well. Next one. So then, what happened? After they asked, okay, do you guys want a rule? Everybody shouted no, but then people sent in postcards saying yes. They created a rule. And in 2015, they proposed a rule, it's procedures for reestablishing a formal government-to-government relationship with the Native Hawaiian community. Next slide.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
Here? Because I don't think that the idiots that supposedly support the GOI realize that they are coming from a more inferior position. Right now, as an independent nation, they are in a superior position. Why would they ask for a small portion of the pie when the entire pie belongs to them?
Because they like the money.
I mean, they stupid, and they're supposed to be the more learned. So I mean, it's like, hello, I mean, you're just protecting your own okole because you want the job. That's what it is.
It's because a lot of the people who actually are proposing and pushing this whole thing through are people who've been on the federal dole for so many years. People like the CNHA. You got people connected to the Democratic Party. When you look at the federal monies that have come down from the federal government for Native Hawaiian entitlements, these people are basically trying to protect these programs and this money that has gone to the same exact people for the last 2 to 3 decades in lieu, and what they're going to do in our behalf is give up the kingdom lands,
But
1.8 million
that's
acres of
why we
land.
should not be even dealing with the Department of Interior, because they are inferior to the Kingdom of Hawaii. We should be dealing with the State Department rather than the Department of Interior. They don't realize that they're changing themselves into Indians. Hello, they're not Indians. We are Hawaiian.
It's all about the money.
And the numbers game. We are the exception and not the norm. The norm is the dummies, or the ones that are not sure of the kingdom, of our rights, of everything. And that's the pilike right now, is the money and the numbers.
But for them not to understand that a joint resolution from a nation cannot annex an independent nation, that is stupid. That's foolishness.
Agreed.
It's not legal or lawful.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, we have a large population of Hawaiians who do not know anything that's going on, let alone the kingdom. You ask any Hawaiian walking on the street, did you hear from Nai Olavalu or Nai Aupuni? Ole? They don't know. We're in a situation why this whole thing, Aloha Āina, is something that we believe that we need to take out to as many Hawaiians as we can to educate them about what's really going on, so that they understand and can make a clear decision on what we need to do to move forward. We can be talking to each other as much as we know, but we have a large majority of our people who know nothing about anything that's going on in their behalf.
At least they don't be on the right side.
Well, my cousin uses a really excellent analogy to explain it. He said, if you own a cherry truck and I come and I steal that truck, does that truck still belong to you or does it belong to me? It still belongs to you, correct? But I take the tires, I sell the parts, then I start painting it red, white, and blue. Is that truck mine or is it still yours?
Still mine.
Exactly, it's still yours, and that's exactly what America did to the Hawaiian people. They stole our truck and they're painting them red, white, and blue.
And Nayopuni guys are willing to accept the spare tire because it means spare tire versus nothing, and they give up the whole car. Say, oh, give me the spare tire. So that's basically what it comes down to.
So yeah, in a way, federal recognition is a way to finally incorporate Native Hawaiians into the U.S. because we're technically not really part of the U.S. legally.
Is this like something like when contract being signed by us relinquishing our rights?
Yeah, it is. And that's the other side of it too, is that federal recognition is a way to finally incorporate, because we only have the Newlands resolution.
The thing is that contracts only work by signatures. It doesn't work by us guys not participating.
But that's what they did for like a century or over a century to Native Americans. They would create Native American chiefs to sign a paper on behalf of their tribe, and that's what they're doing right now. Yeah. They're creating these chiefs to sign a paper on behalf of the Hawaiian people. And they've done it, the DOI has done it for many, many
But in the Hawaiian Kingdom,
decades.
there's a process. In order to become one king, you have to go through plebiscite or referendum, one voting. You have to get voted. And you have to have the qualifications to be the mo'i, or be the ali'i, or be the representative, the nobles. You gotta be on ali.
So at this point, we actually, because we have a Kalani coming up, Heleni's going to wrap up what she's talking about. We're definitely going to get into discussion. Yeah. So if you can kind of carry on and kind of get, because Kalani's going to talk about the kino, which is kind of why we're here, and to talk about this very ancient form of how we organize ourselves as a body politic.
And Kalamai know if I seem punchy, but this makes me angry every time. I do
You see that? The reason why we started this audience because, hey, when we was reading, I was like, oh, this thing making me Aloha. I gotta do something about it.
So the current proposed rules does not provide for any Kanaka Maoli, land for any Kanaka Maoli except for Kaho'olawe. All federal lands are off the table. So there's no land except for Kaho'olawe, that according to the proposed rule. And so all federal lands, so federal government right now controls 898,000 acres on the main Hawaiian Islands and over 88 million acres of the Papahanaumokuakea National Monument, which is the northwestern Hawaiian Islands. So all of that lands is off the table if these proposed rules go through. So we'll be a nation on Kaho'olawe. Thanks, Ray.
That's it. And they're trying to say that they'll negotiate after.
Yeah. So for this round, what they did was they brought out these rules. They said, okay, here, read the rules, the ones we want to pass, and your comments have to be very specific to the rules. And you can't talk about independence and you can't talk about kingdom because that's not under our purview. And so 54,584 comments were submitted and accepted by the Department of Interior. 50,000 of them were submitted after the December 30 deadline by some unknown, anonymous person. Actually, I know who it is, but I can't prove it. She created a fake change.org petition. She created it. I don't know how she did it. And we checked with change.org and we found out that there is no such petition. There's people on that petition, the 50,000 names that she submitted, that we know. One of them is Earl DeLeon, who is a Mauna Kea Kia'i, and he has no idea how his name got on there. There's a lot of people on there like that. So an unknown person submitted 50,475 names, which was counted by the Department of Interior December 31st. And it's really unclear whether those 50,000 names are going to be used for in support of the rules or against the rules. So again, the process is really flawed, and it's almost like manufacturing the consent of the Hawaiian people. This is really scary. The next one. Okay, there were 1,639 comments in opposition to the proposed rules submitted through the Āina Lahui website, which is the website Shane and I did. And what we did was we did a form testimony that people could submit. And then there was hundreds more in opposition. So I believe that if you took out those 50,000 comments, we would have the majority against the proposed rule. You think so? So we're continuing to count the 2014 and 2015 comments. We submitted a complaint to the Department of Interior asking that they count the oral testimonies, don't count the duplicate testimonies, disqualify the Native Hawaiian Road Commission, Kana'i'olowalu testimonies, and investigate the 50,000 comments. We haven't heard back from them yet, but what we do now know at this time, at this moment, right now, CNHA, which is the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, and the SHA, which is the Hawaiian Homesteads Association Council, they're taking this Constitution of the Native Hawaiian Nation straight to Washington, D.C. next month. The same time that Hokulea is coming up the coast, and they're gonna be in Washington, D.C. the same month. They've released their agenda, and one of their agenda items that they're taking this Constitution, they're taking it to the Department of Interior. They're taking it to federal agencies, and so I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Now, what we're waiting for right now with the Department of Interior is for the final rules to come out. And what can happen is that the Department of Interior can change the rules to fit the Constitution, where they don't even may not even have to ratify the Constitution. So we don't know. But according to the rules right now, they have to ratify the Constitution. And a big portion of it has to come from the Hawaiian homesteaders. But, we also did this as well. So these are some avenues that organizations, I did this a while back, and actually the middle part is true now. The sovereignty councils of the Hawaiian homelands, they didn't have a constitution before, but they're taking this constitution as their constitution, and they're taking it to Washington DC. So there will be, if we don't do anything, some kind of federally recognized Hawaiian nation who will speak on our behalf. And it's not about, this nation will not be about empowering the people or returning our lands. It'll be about doing a global settlement on our behalf and empowering the people that are already in power. That's what this whole process is about, even more.
And there's a big dog and pony show planned on the Potomac River when the Hokulea goes up there next month. It's all being timed to again, create this illusion of manufacturing consent that the Hawaiian people actually support it. They're going to be using the Hokulea's arrival in DC as them substantiating their push for the DOI to create a federally recognized landless, powerless nation in behalf of Hawaiians who know nothing
Does the
about what's going on.
Hokulea know they're getting used in this way?
Well, the Hokulea, if you really look at the Hokulea for years, I mean, you look at the Hokulea, it's a Polynesian Voyaging Society. Polynesian Voyaging Society had a direct connect through Pinky Thompson. Pinky Thompson, he's deceased now, but he was, all the federal money for many years that came out for health, education, vocation, it went from Inouye, the one-armed bandit, directly to Pinky Thompson. Everything, wherever you look. Aluleke gets money from Pinky Thompson from Inouye for vocational training. Native on healthcare, where does it go? Who's the head of Papa Molokai, the Native on healthcare system? Pinky Thompson. So the history of the Polynesian Voyaging Society was very in step with the power structure that has basically kept Hawaiians in the dark about what's really going on. So that's something that we gotta, I mean, people don't like, that's kind of a hard pill for people to swallow, but it's a fact, Jack. Like I said earlier, it does make you uluhua, but it's like, it does happen. The Hokulea has done a lot of good things, I must say, raising Hawaiian consciousness and Hawaiian cultural values, but at the end of the day, when it really counts, they're going to be coming down the Potomac River, waving the flag of federal recognition in behalf and for this taking of 2 million acres of Hawaiian land.
I really believe, like with Hana, if the crew truly understood what they were being used for, I think they would speak up and really do something about it, and not just do it willingly.
Yeah, well,
because it's not something that they would want.
We had 88 people who supported the Constitution of something that was created by the state of Hawaii, many of whom I thought would never do such a thing, and they actually did it. So we should wait and see. If you guys know some of the members, I would definitely ask them and question what's going on. This is just stuff that we've been hearing from people inside Washington, D.C., who've been kind of notifying us of what's going down. There's a lot of secrecy about it. CNHA, if you must know, is, again, Robin Downer, that my wife actually mentioned. A lot of the federal monies that she got is because of her connection directly to the Democratic Party down in Illinois. So a lot of times, if you just follow the money, follow the money, So, but yeah, I think that, of course, in all fairness, we should kind of see some of the individual members of
I'm
the...
not saying that they will be in cahoots, but I think they're going to use the people for their own.
But that's why, I believe, like with Hana, if they know what's happening, they will do something about it.
Yeah.
We hope.
Yeah, we're trying to get the word out there. So we have a plan for up there, but I just wanted to close with basically, if we don't do anything, then we're basically giving up our kids' inheritance, which is our land, and they're gonna end up, once they do this, the global settlement, they're gonna sell it and develop it, and things are only gonna get worse. They have no intention of giving it back.
The flyer for the DOI, so people can do something.
In the back, I have some flyers where you can actually, if you want to do something, you can go online, you can sign the declarations.
Peter, can you grab that flyer with the Kamehameha on top? The Kamehameha one?
You can submit form letters.
Yeah, so if you go on, this is just a informational brochure or flyer that you can take. We have a website on there, ainalahui.com. We created a link directly to senators and to representatives, the Hawaii delegation. We tried to get Obama's email, but his email is incognito. But you can actually go on that website, click on what you believe in, and submit, and your testimony will be submitted in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you can take a few seconds to your family.
Fast. And you can do it on if your family doesn't know how to use the website, you can do it for them too. Okay, so I just wanted to thank Uncle Walter and Hano for inviting us over to do this Aloha Āina and for the, just for all the kokua that we received, and the ku'e petitions for coming as well, from Maui. Aloha.
As you can see, this thing is, it gets more complicated and more complicated. Lots of things have been happening over the years, and the best way to keep up with all of this is the computer. Because if you go to the newspapers or you go on television, zero. They're not telling you the story at all. You have to go find the story for yourself. Okay? So at this time, I'd like to introduce the younger generation and their view of what's going on. Hano has been lucky enough to go to many different battles throughout the state and checking out what's going on in the Hawaiian community. But this time I'd like to ask Hano Na'eo to come up and share some knowledge about what's going on. Hano Na'eo.
Thank you.
I just let everybody know we're being live streamed right now, so people are actually watching online too.
So again, aloha everybody. My name is Hano Na'eo. My mom is Sharon Sis Na'eo. My dad is Clayton Guy Naugi Na'eo. Come from the Durua clan, the Pua'a clan, the Paki, and the Pali. What you're seeing happening is a build-up over the years, and for a long time, mentoring under Uncle Walt. Here on Molokai, we are looked upon very much so as troublemakers. And the one thing I have never seen Uncle Walt to do is compromise our Aina. And that, I try to model myself after big time. Again, mahalo Uncle Walt, mahalo to all the kupuna that went before. I got introduced to sovereignty when my mom started going to Ohana council meetings. I was about 10. Mentored under Uncle Walt, and went to a sovereign meeting and said, "What group do you represent?" "Oh, Aloha Āina." Yeah, and Aloha Āina, as you look back, my mom said, "Oh, you guys made up that term." I was like, "No, Mom, we made it cool again, but we never make them up. This thing was pretty ancient. Go back to our kupuna." And then when I started working fish ponds, they started sending me around with some Native Americans in this ambassador program. And I started viewing and seeing how the tribes operated and how much discourse, how much pilikia that they had with the American government. Because again, like was said earlier, you get dealt some cards to pacify you. And as you go around Native communities, some communities have more cards than others. For example, the Seminole Nation, they get plenty rights, they get plenty money. They get so much that they started saying, if you no more so much blood quantum, you're not allowed to receive benefits from that tribe. As I started traveling around the Pacific, you go to places like Rapa Nui, and they get free college, they get free health care, they get subsidies on housing, food, and on automobiles. And again, they get cards, but they don't want the deck. And the deck, like Auntie was saying, the ice cream truck is our natural resources. It's the reefs, the mountains, the water, the ocean. It's all of our resources that if we had, we could do so much of a better job reshuffling to our lahui and to everybody. And unlike a lot of these places, what I've also noticed is our islands and our people have the capacity, the know-how, the intelligence, and the mana to take care of ourselves. If you used to go to Rapa Nui, there is no rivers, right? There are very limited resources. So maybe with them, it's a better deal to have some kind of relationship with the bigger power so that to ensure their people's well-being. When you go to Tahiti, again, you have a landscape that is very tropical, but it's almost 80% invasive plants. Everything is very expensive because they have to ship everything in. And you look at us. We get mountains, we get rivers, we get everything that our people and our nation would need to be independent, unlike these other places. But we have nothing, right? We are with the most powerful, fearful, warmongering, hateful country on the planet. And the world was led to believe that we got adopted and not kidnapped, right? And what is happening and becoming very obvious is this country, this government, and this system, who says they are taking care of us and they have our best interests in mind, is raping us the hardest. We do not grow our own food. We are very dependent upon the food they bring in. We are very dependent on the jobs that they give. We are very dependent on everything that they say we need. And therein lies the problem, is that Papa Jules told me in Kilana school that he used to get lickings for speaking Hawaiian. Mom then grew up already believing that being Hawaiian not going to get you to be successful. And this is all remnants and leftover from when they had guns on Iolani Palace, cannons on Iolani Palace, guns to our kupuna's heads, saying, you guys need to disappear. You guys need to become American. But, like Kalama said, that never happened. So right now, we're coming into the generation of knowing the most that we've ever known in the history, going back to when our kupuna was the most literate on the whole planet. So right now, when I look around and every time we hold meetings, we used to have the song, please, let there be more than just 10 people. I used to go around singing that song of Walter because it's like, wow, we're coming with all of this ike, this mana'o. And how come get so little people interested? Part of it is the system has brainwashed and put the chain so heavily on us and the speed that we need to keep up that we got lost. So right now, Uncle Walt, we've protested hard, from cruise ships, to land auction with John McAfee, to the tarot patents, to La'au Point, to the GMOs, to Mauna Kea, to the resource rapists, the dentists coming over and getting our fishermen in trouble, to the DOI. And it's always been the same. You can play defense on your own, but the only way we going home to the kingdom is all together. Because nobody can go home alone. Henry Noah cannot go home alone. Keanu Sai cannot go home alone. Uncle Walter cannot go home alone. If we all don't go together, then we no can go home. So I've been protesting and doing all this stuff, and you only affect so much people. So we started doing something different. Started making music. Because I told my mom, I'm sorry, but your generation, you guys hot, eh? you guys know, I'm sorry, tell my, I'll offend you guys. But I told Mom, I hard time help your generation that's sleeping because it's going to take too much energy. It's almost like trying to repair one pond where the wall stays 6 feet under mud. I would rather go like to the kids and make sure that they never go to sleep instead of trying to wake up some of your generation that never going to wake. They've been doing it too long that way for change. So with music, you always like the kids listen to Hawaiian music, right? And if you're fishing, traditional Hawaiian music is like the lure that is just beautiful. That's the most beautiful lure get, right? Throw them to the kids. Reel them in, no more bite. Throw them again. Reel them in, no more bite. What are they listening to? They call them rap, hip hop. What we find out is hip hop was born in 1976. Same time Kaho'olawe, same time Hokulea was sailing, same time we was in our mama's opu. So, and it was in Brooklyn, New York, and it was about turning violence into an art form so that they don't have to kill each other. Turning them into an art form where you get answers in music so they can reach more people. So again, Walter said, okay boys, this year we probably play defense. What? What do you mean? We're gonna play offense. Like, wow, cool. How are we gonna do that? You guys gonna become Aloha Āina missionaries. Like, wow, when you think missionaries, you think, wow, they went really everything from us. Right? And he said, yeah, we gotta reverse that. You mean like a reverse missionary? Yeah, something like that. So, in our history, we get people like Robert Wilcox. Anybody ever heard of Robert Wilcox? They call him Willie Cockett. He was responsible for the attempted rebellion against the guys who took Lili Udang. So, we made a song kind of remembering him. Usually my wife sing, but I'm going to give him my best because this song is most relevant to this time and you guys right now. So bear with me. Ahui ho, ahui ho, you gotta go. Ahui ho, cause you don't know. Ahui ho, malama pono. Ahui ho, you gotta go, and we give them back, get them back, take them back, but slow. Why? We gotta know, do we tell our kingdom, ahui ho, or do we give rebellion, ahana ho? From the island, Hawaiian shining, expertly rhyming in perfect timing. Aloha Āina warrior, steady climbing, kukia imona, frontlining, kapu aloha smiling, grinding, cause they grip on us and started sliding. Oh, regulators mount up, cause we riding. I need faces, aces, tigers, and lions. Gonna make a change, try to rearrange 100+ years of brainwash and bloodstain. And we'll always remain, we gotta take the reins, cause after this nothing will be the same. We gotta regain our Āina, mountains, valleys, winds, rivers, and plains, animals, reefs, plants, rocks, and rain. But most of all, hammer their chains off our brains. Give them back, get them back, take them back, but slow. Why? We gotta know, do we tell our kingdom, ahui ho, or do we give rebellion, ahana ho? Give them back, get them back, take them back, but slow. Why? Who knows, maybe this time around, peaceful, holding hands, screaming to the top of our lungs, hula, ahui ho, you gotta go, ahui ho, cause you don't know. Ahui ho, malama pono. Ahui ho, you gotta go. My imagination makes a proclamation. This illegal occupation, Americanization, and assimilation into corporation, frustration, manipulation, the reservations of destination and obligation for our nation. Oh, you donkeys, judgmental. Remember over here, cousin, you is one rental. So be gentle and no get mental. My sentimental might turn resentful, then revengeful, going controversial, maybe detrimental, possibly monumental. Hoo-wee-ho, hoo-wee-ho. You gotta go. Hoo-wee-ho, hoo-wee-ho. Cause you don't know. Hoo-wee-ho, hoo-wee-ho. Malama porno. Hoo-wee-ho, hoo-wee-ho. You gotta go, and we give them back. Get them back. Take them back, but slow. Why? We gotta know, do we tell our kingdom hoo-wee-ho, or do we give rebellion hana-ho? Give them back, get them back, take them back, but slow. Why? Who knows, maybe this time around, peaceful, holding hands, screaming to the top of our lungs, Hula! You believe that, guys? America will let us go! This halu that we're looking for turn the next generation and the one following, make them become the new norm. Knowing who we came from, knowing what we came from, and where we still gotta go. So there's all of us like this kino in all these different positions. And again, the whole goal is nobody can go home alone. And all we need for go home is everybody, right? So, whatever you do, try to affect as much kanaka and people that we love, from kupuna to kiki, so that we all can go home. And that's pretty much what we're doing it. Walter always said, the fish pond is the walk for our talk. So if we're gonna rebel out and we say no to the DOI, what is the answer? The answer is Aloha Āina. The answer is our resources for grow food, for make our kids smart, you know, but definitely not be dependent upon the system. I know Walter, he's trained me pretty good. He always say, "Brock, you're taking too long." But I really share one more song. If you guys are right with it, I don't care what he said. Okay, and this one is actually for Kalama, for Healani, and for the people that fought for us and tried to go into that golf course and tried to stand up for us. I dedicate this song to you guys. I actually wrote it with all of that mana'o inside. It's called Coconut Man. And again, if you guys like it, cool, but it wasn't aimed for you guys, it was aimed for the kids. Oh Tiger, how you rolling? Going to the level Jedi Knight and glowing. Everything flowing cause I'm knowing. Hawaiian stop sailing when the wind blowing. Rebel sea sowing, consciousness growing. Social media posting the brainwash slowing. But I feel a disturbance in the force. Some of the best I know warriors course through my veins while we strain to remain. Regain perspective, living collective, multi-dimensional, interconnected, love respected by all of nature's friends. Proof in the pudding, no need to pretend. My mouth, my gun, my sword is my pen. Aloha Āina warriors, right now it's time to make legend. Hey, Mr. Coconut Man, you again sleeping with Uncle Sam? Another no can, bro. Scam, raping native people, ocean and land. Hey, Na'i Au Puni clan, treason is when you making a plan to go against the law who we not understand, giving away our kingdom and our land. My generation ready for separation, elevation of porno interpretation, inspiration, revelation through collaboration. Try to wake up the whole Hawaiian nation. Don't keep peeping, creeping and stealing. Like our eyes wide open, yet we still sleeping. Can you see our resources fading and fleeting? No, cause nobody like no meeting. So they keep creeping, lying and cheating. Politicians hand in hand meet steady beating, playing, choking themselves. They said they couldn't tell, selling their souls and going straight to hell. Who cares what their soul is worth? Peel off out of their being since their birth. Decisions leading to hate. Congratulate native rape they create for us. No escape. Hey, Mr. Coconut Man, you again sleeping with Uncle Sam. Another no-can rock scam, raping native people, ocean and land. Hey, Na'iau Puni Clan, treason is when you making a plan to go against the law who we not understand, giving away our kingdom and our land. Why is money so important to greedy, needy corporations and people who exhaust resources, develop golf courses, race thoroughbred horses, and as lonely corpses? Rude and shrewd individuals, more like criminal, subliminal, tank max is minimal, always a way to rip us off. Language, culture lost, cause you the boss. You stole our land, made us worship the cross. So here's a toss-up, call them heads or tails. For you to win, everyone else must fail. Round up all us rebels and send us to jail. Make us tuck tail, forget how to sail. Hawaiian version of the Oregon Trail. The scales of justice is off, not working straight. Let's all go for Porto Bomb Rush the gate. Hey, Mr. Coconut Man, you again sleeping with Uncle Sam. Another no-can rock scam, raping native people, ocean and the land. Hey, Na'iau Puni Clan, treason is when you making a plan to go against the whole lot who we not understand, giving away our kingdom and our land.
That was his joke. So, next speaker, for me it's really important that these guys over here, they're going to make their own constitution, even though we get one constitution, they make a new place, a new kingdom, they're going to make everything all new, because that's their manao. On this side, what we have is our history, and the people that made sure that we have our kingdom that still exists is our kupuna. So what Jocelyn and them are doing is really, really important, because that's the foundation of where we're going. That's what's going to hold us up. That's what we should be building, not new constitutions and doing the same thing that the guys who went overthrow us was doing, except in the brown skin instead of white skin. So I wanted to introduce Jocelyn to come up and have a few words about what they're doing. So after Jocelyn is finished, we're going to be talking about what we can be doing here at Molokai, how we're going to be organizing ourselves according to that poster right there. So we're going to have some traditional organizing. So while we're waiting, I'm going to talking think about John Wahe. He's the leader right now. He's the leader of the group that wants to have us become all Indians. He's the #1 person. And he has a very strong lieutenants, and he has access to lots of money. So the more we shine the light on him, the more people will understand who's leading that whole movement. And even though he's my husband, I figure out how to change his mind somehow, or how to defeat him. So you know more what's going to happen. You ready, Jocelyn? Oh, okay, go ahead.
So in 2014, the Department of Interior came to the islands of Hawaii. The purpose was to offer administrative rules designed for a political relationship with the Native Hawaiian community. Several meetings were held statewide. What we heard was a resounding a'oli. The common thread that connected us was our kupuna on the Pu'e petition. The thought grew in our minds, and 4 women sat in the Queen's Hospital among the porches of our mo'i, discussing the possible reality of having the people sign the petition no different from their kupuna. Several gatherings were created titled Continuing the Conversation because the DOI, Department of Interior, had no follow-up schedule for us. We brought guest speakers and made the original petition available to look at after a series of gatherings.
I want to say tonight how complicated it is for everyone here to come as one, which has brings so much joy to my heart. As an Filipino, I grew up in a Hawaiian family that fought for Hawaiian rights. And the common denominator was always separation from everything. And for me, in my generation, in my time, this is so important for our children, for our kupuna, for our grandchildren, and them on, and everyone who came before us. Their answer for me is no. You cannot give me back something I never gave up. I am forever Hawaiian. It's never been that way. What you took from me, from my people, is ethnocide. You took away my culture, my language, my history. I listen to my kupuna cry because they cannot even talk to the children and teach them what they need to know. Genealogy was forbidden. Only through language. Try to find some of our records. No healing of our family. But we, no one alive, my time, and who life died because what you felt was perfect for us was not. You don't know me like that. We never gave up our sovereignty. You took away from us. Took it. You stay here in my country telling me what you can do for me? No. You owe me an apology. You owe all of us an apology. Nothing you can say will replace anything that you've done. We don't rebuild us. We don't get together. We don't provide. You guys need us because we are in the perfect area. Perfect, strategically placed for military purposes. United States had treaties with the Hawaiian people. They broke it. They were told by the United Nations, return Hawaii. Did they do it? No. There is no better than the terrorists that they came to fight. I am American by default, not by choice. I am Kanaka. And you know what? Not even Hawaiians. I'm so proud of them for coming up here and saying what you guys did is wrong. It's not just the Hawaiian people like Popo, it's the Hawaiian people by heart. We sovereign. But now the country trying to take our sovereignty. You just need to take yourself and
Why would this be important? The action brought to us today by any federal or state agency is about consent. The attempt is now being made to make what is illegal legal. The United States requires our consent because till today they have not obtained it.
The title of the article, Striking Hands on the Nation's Role, speaks clearly to the veracity of what the reader will read. Not known at the time was whether or not the two-day petition would be read in the Senate for ratifying the so-called treaty petition. Before the Senate could meet in 1897, 3 years after the illegal occupancy, the officers of the Hawaiian Patriotic League and Hawaiian Political Association traveled to Washington, D.C. and met with Senator George Moore of Massachusetts. He agreed to submit the signature petition onto the record of the Senate when it convened, and by March of 1898, the coup-aid petition successfully killed the treaty as the Senate could not harmony the host for ratification. The U.S. has no claim. There is no treaty of annexation books in our lives that relate to the kingdom of Hawaii. That is like today, trying to annex Canada or Mexico to the U.S. We as Hawaiians and Hawaiian nationals are paralyzed by indoctrination of the Western lies and thinking. We have to look back. We have to, yes, to move forward, but move forward in truth.
As long as we continue the petition, we become the pakai, the preservative that saves our country. The question is now, should you sign? That, I'm afraid, is a question only you can answer for yourself. You can choose to stay home, or you can take the offer, give it to you instead. We were given a kuleana to make this available and to speak the living document so you would know of this alternative and opportunity to understand through the action of our kupuna exactly what was done for us in truth, not by means of agencies, departments making decisions for us. We hold the power and we possess the key to our house. The key is the petition, and it will open the door to Hawaii, our home. Prepare yourself, because the house needs to be cleaned. The laundry separated and folded, dishes need to be washed, floors need to be swept and mopped, because we haven't been home for quite some time. If these are things we know how to do and able to do it. If you were given the choice to have only a portion of your inheritance regulated by someone else, or the entire inheritance freely controlled by you, what would you choose? There's a definite battle here today. Surprisingly, it's not with the United States of America. It's within our own country, between our own people. We are being asked to become part of another country, but not asked directly. Since 1897, Hawaii has never given consent, proven with the signatures on the petition. This is the power we possess. James Kaulia said, protest forever until the last patriot lives. He knew as long as there were patriots who protested, no one could lawfully take our country, and any action contrary could be challenged. You may say, once we sign, then what? This is what the Aloha Āina movement is. We are preparing for that transition. We are all in limbo and saying, what then? What we should be asking is, what can I do? How can I help? The answer to the question is endless. Start with infecting every mind with the truth. Do your homework in the true history. That's where you'll find a lot of answers. This is how we knew making the petition available again for signing was right. Do your genealogy, build your family. Do not let others tell your children who they are. Instead, give them the sense of pride of coming from the greatest people in the petition. There are offers being presented today that may appear to be good enough. What this petition offers is the truth. We say this because the petition didn't contain some kupuna, a 2/3 majority. This petition contained almost every inhabitant of our country. I can trust in what my kupuna stood for and believed in. So these are some of the people who also believe in our petition that we had started taking around the different islands since 2015, because we first asked the people what they wanted, and they wanted to follow their kupuna. What better way to find out how we can unify our people, but to find a common thread? And the common thread is our kupuna. And so if we can come to that core, I don't think we're going wrong. Because if they stop the annexation with this petition, we definitely can stop Na'ia Puni with the same. It's already recognized in Congress, they can't make it go away. Families ask us at their family reunions because they want to sign together. Parents come in and they say, boy, come here, you gotta sign with me. This family went all over the Ho'olaulia, came back and signed together at Ho'omau. They thought that I was going to be disappointed. We went Mauna Kea about 4 times with the petition. The youth have said, oh, Auntie, I never know. And they cried. So we stand behind our queen and rally together.
Okay, trying to organize Wilson from the Big Island, also work on Oahu. And he's going to explain to us some of the things that we can be doing in joining everybody else in the state and what they're doing.
Aloha mai kako, kamaka o Molokai Āina, Molokai Pule o Wau o Kamelamela, Haina no Kohala, o Kalaiwa, ko Ohana no Kahalu, Makona, o Kaikaue, Ohana no Kealia, Kona, o Papa, Tainoa ma Polua Woko. E no wau e wewe aku i au kou ki ana kipino. Kano nai. So aloha, all my friends, all over Moko Keawe. My only tie over here, I think my grand aunt, Mary Campbell, married Judge McCarthy a while ago on Molokai. And they had 11 kids. So. If I don't know you, my ohana, kalomai. So, Mauna Kea, just in Paul. But when Mauna Kea started, all these people coming from all over, and Kupuna was like, okay, we gotta organize this. I think getting all over the place. How we gonna organize? So me and some brothers, we did some heavy reading, and what we found was the civil polity from David Malo in Hawaiian Antiquities. But before I go there, there's something more important that happened this year that we should all be celebrating, and it comes from Kanupepa Kuokoa, Kalai Kahi o January. Kahai Hawaii, ua olu a ho'oli ho'i mākou I kahai Hawaii pai ia maluna ai olu ana no ho'i paha ka poe lawi ka nupepa ku'oko'a ka nāna ana. Ua kau mākou I kahai no ki koia ana mai ko mākou aloha nui ko kākou mo'i a me ka mo'i wahine a me ka haku o Hawaii ka laua keiki a me ke au puni ho'i o kākou. He mea mau ke aloha o na maka aina ana I kahai o ko lākou aina ai ko lākou wā e ike ai ai velo ana. E ho'opia mai no paha ia I ka na'au me ka oli. We are much pleased with the beautiful flag printed above, and all our readers will also be pleased in seeing it. We have been to some expense and labor to print it out of aloha for our King, Queen, and Prince Royal, and for our government. All true patriots love the flag of their country, and when they see it, it fills them with joy. Ua hana mua ia ke ia hai ka makahiki umiku mama walu umiku mama ono no Kamehameha Ikahi. The Hawaiian flag was designed for King Kamehameha Ikahi in the year 1816. This year is 2016. 200th anniversary, the first time this flag was used to trade sandalwood with China. That is huge. If anyone calls yourself on Hawaiian National, Hawaiian Kingdom, or anything like this, we should be repping the Hawaiian national flag throughout this entire year. Because these are the types of informations and anchors that we can find in our stories from our kupuna prior to 1893. Yeah. To me, everything after 1893 is suspect. Yeah. Ever since they started spanking all my kupuna, because they were all fluent in Hawaiian for going to school and making them speak English, yeah, that's when all the lies began. The majority of our people, we don't know which is lie, which is true, because when you speak and understand English, we can move on the foundation of our ancestors forward together. Yeah. We need to research, read the language and stories of our kupuna so that we have a strong foundation. And that's why when we had thousands, hundreds and thousands of people up on Mauna Kea. Yeah. It was hard to organize everybody. Yeah. One of the things is everybody like be chief, everybody like be leader. Yeah. But when you read in Malo's Mo'olelo of how everybody can fit, everybody's expertise, everybody's diversity can fit into the metaphor of one kino. All the Hawaiians understand the body, but I think to move forward, you gotta work together. The hand cannot go over there, the left hand over there, foot in the back, you're gonna fall down. Yeah. So this metaphor is what we used in Kalapana because we knew Naiaupuni was coming on November 28th, 2015. Yeah. So we had over 300 Kanaka in Kalapana, all Hawaiian nationals. Got my ID, my Hawaiian national ID, my driver's license. This is how I drive. This is how I borrow books. The state library system, they honor this. You can borrow books with your Hawaiian national ID. This last year, we applied to the university as Hawaiian nationals to go to school. And then right now, we're suing them for discrimination on the basis of national origin. Yeah. So, like offense, yeah, we gotta go offense, but we gotta go good offense, yeah. Good offense to me is before 1893. We gotta find our offense in there. Anything after that, tainted with lies, yeah. And this really is a fight to me of good and evil. Lies, truth. They're killing us out there. Yeah. That's the plain truth. Especially Big Island. We get the same problems as everybody else. And they're stealing from us every single day. And just gotta stop. We didn't ask too much. We gotta move, we gotta react, we gotta attack. We cannot wait anymore. But you gotta move, react, attack with the right information. And all of that information is Ayamako Kako Olelo. Okay? So, I'm gonna share this and then we'll break up. Or?
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll, after Kalani shares the kino, we're gonna have people can start, go grab something to eat, and then you're gonna go back into your, sit down in your kino. Okay, so I want you, as you guys are going along with this, as he goes through the different parts and explains it, keep in mind what part you might want to go to, because it's not really easy, because we all do all different kinds of stuff, yeah? So, but try to think, which part of it do you think that you belong to the most? And you go get me an eye, come back, and then sit in your kinos, okay?
Like, she's a physician, Dr. Nihil, so she actually goes to the, which one you go to?
Kahuna. Kahuna.
The kahuna.
Experts of the field, but kahuna experts.
So, in Hawaiian antiquities, David Malo says this was our basic structure from ancient times, very, very long time ago. So, I'm just going to explain a little bit. So, po'o, from what we found, was the ali'inui, the head. But when you read the whole thing, and for us, the head is Queen Liliuokalani. She was our last head. They overthrew the queen. I always fly my flag upside down. They overthrew the queen, they overturned the government. I fly the flag upside down until they resolve 123 years of illegality. I will only turn this flag right side up, the Hawaiian Kingdom flag, when we're at peace. Because the person or the entity that flies our flag right side up is the entity that's stealing, is the entity that's raping us right now, is the entity that's destroying our lands. That's called the illegal state of Hawaii. So I will never fly this flag like them right now. Yeah? Until they correct the 123-year illegal actions, then I'll fly it right side up. Especially this year, in memory of the 200th anniversary of our first international trade. Any questions on that? Because this is a long story, but it's been cut off short. So anyway, after we go call, the different parts of the kino is, David Malo says, the kahuna was the one that advised the king if it was time to build a heiau, if it was time to go to war, or even if it was time, so the spiritual, cultural leaders, the kumu and the educators, the healers, the scientists, if you feel more inclined to inform, then you're gonna sit down in this section. Yeah, and then you guys will talk about our direction from the kahuna aspect. Kalaimoku. Those were the administrators, the political leaders, lawyers, politicians, economists, all the ones that ran the government, or that's going to run the government, because we have to run the government. We're going to have to transition what's currently in place now into our possession. So we need to educate ourselves of those positions so we can hand out our cards. Okay, Hawaiian Kingdom's back. Get out of your chair. You know my job. Hawaiian taking the job. Yeah? Because that's how it works when you get people doing illegal things and when you got the truth and justice on your side. Yeah? So when you look at the hand, yeah? A kahuna. It's the first one. The left foot. All of the fishermen and Molokai. So when you look at majority of the people, when you look at the Maka'aina, the Kua'aina, the Kanaka, Waka'aina, that's the biggest base of people. Yeah. So when you do Mahi'ai and Lawai'a, fishermen, farmers, gatherers, resource cultivation, production, and regeneration, you step with your left foot, they bring the kau when you get the meeting. Yeah. When time for block the road, when time for block the airport, Lake Hilo Airport, then the Mahi'ai Lawai'a, they turn into the Nakoa Oka'aina. Yeah? So you get dual roles. But for our purpose here, we don't like just flood one place, yeah? We like people talk and work together in the different parts. And then the Manovai is the communications, media, technology, networking. So this is the large part. The Aloha Āina leadership group serves as part of being the Manovai of sharing this information, because you got to understand, we are the underdogs. They get the news, they get the radio, they control the internet. The only thing we can get back to is word of mouth, face to face. Yeah, because everything else is almost all lies. Yeah. Any questions on the kino? Oh, Nakoa. Oh, Nakoa, warriors, they're the protectors, resource managers, law enforcers. They secure our national interests. So when you think of the eyes on the land, yeah, everybody can either farm or fish, but at the same time, you got to protect their resources, because they, attacking, stealing, destroying, all the negative things. We're not going to have anything for our children. Yeah, on Oahu, they're in ramp up so quickly. They're building homes on all the ag lands. It's crazy. I was on Makanikai, I was looking. All I can see is homes. Every single valley, the thing crawling up the mountain though. On the sides of the mountain, the homes.
Waikiki stage to be town patches.
I can see how had Lo'i before. All of the fertile places are now no more. They want us to buy their food. They're making us be dependent on them. Yeah. And if we don't fight that now, all of your mo'opuna will be the ones who's suffering. Because when they're poisoning the food, like the GMOs poisoning our food, it's a slow death, yeah? To where the only way you can survive is you go buy medicine. That's how they make money on both sides. The pharmaceuticals and the sick food they're giving us. Yeah. Kalamai, but helikako ai. So before we go eat, we're gonna put the kahuna in this section. When you guys come back, we're gonna rearrange the chairs. So when you come back after you get your ai, kahuna gonna be this section. Kalaimoku over here, and then that corner gonna be Mahi'ai Lawai'a, Nakoa on that side, and then right in the middle can be the Manovai. Hikino?
Hikino.
Puli kako no ka mea ai? Puli kako, ho malu. Malu ia oe ke akua, makia rā. E ho mai kai oe I ka mea ai no kako, e ola ai ko kako ki, ko kako na au. Mahalo no na kupuna, mahalo no na iwi, I mua o mākou. Nao no ke alakai, e ho'opo mai kai a kako a pauloa. Amen.
Amen.